Once again, the news continues to be the price, and the price continues to be the news. The nice thing about DCA is even though you end up buying high, you also catch the dips. But one thing it does not preclude you from is BTFD. Well, did you?
This podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only. Nothing on this podcast should be construed as financial advice. All views expressed on this podcast are solely the opinions of the host and or any guests that we might have from time to time. Nothing on this podcast should be construed as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular investing strategy.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Bitcoin Bulletin Podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021, and this is a special episode for us. Not only is it DCA Wednesday, this marks both our 25th episode and our 20th stack on this journey that we began last July. This week, the news continues to be the price. Much like March of 2020, although not quite as severe, Bitcoin had a huge correction on Friday, tumbling as low as $46,000. As Bitcoin followed the rest of the world markets down on news of the latest variant. And while following the dollar cost average strategy means that we've been able to build up quite a nice little stack already at a value below current market prices, it did present an opportunity to add additional Bitcoin to your stack using the buy the freaking dip strategy. Of course, if you choose to make your DCA purchases daily, which we do not, of course, you did BTFD, and you BTF'd all of the Ds. But if you didn't, you can always use the BTFD strategy to pick up additional sats when Bitcoin's on sale on days that you do not already auto-invest or DCA. All right, so what the heck are we even talking about? Well, DCA, or dollar cost averaging, is an investment strategy where you invest your money in equal portions at regular intervals regardless of price. Back on July 28th, we began this experiment by stacking $20 worth of Satoshis every Wednesday. And so far, we've invested $380, which has scored us a stack of 731,045 Satoshis, which is currently only worth about $371. So this is the first time in this journey that we're actually a little bit underwater, but we're not doing too shabby. And again, dollar cost averaging is a long-term play. And of course, the beauty of DCA is that we're going to pick up some cheap sats today, so that's actually going to help lower that cost basis and get us closer to on track. All right, so real quick, let's take a look at where things stand. Again, today is Wednesday, December 8th, and we are currently at a block height of 713,287, and Bitcoin is worth approximately $50,500. And that will score you approximately 1,900 Satoshis per cuck buck. And Bitcoin is just below that, well, it depends on who you ask, whether it's that all-important $1 trillion market cap threshold at $954.4 billion market cap valuation. We have not had a network difficulty adjustment since the last episode, but we are approaching one on approximately December 11th that, depending on where you get your data, will be an upward increase of between 4.9 to 7.7%. Of course, we're 28 days off of our all-time high of around $69,000, so we're down about 26.8%. And that puts us in what most people are saying is great buy territory. The 24-hour transaction volume is also down from last week a little bit. We're still at 3.14 transactions per second, but that's a little bit lower than the 3.34 last week or the 3.43 2 weeks ago. And Bitcoin seems to have stabilized around the $50,000 mark after having fallen as low as $46,000 just a few days ago. All right, back to the purpose for today's show, and that is to get our DCA Wednesday stack on. Again, dollar cost averaging is an investment strategy where you invest your money in equal portions at regular intervals regardless of price. How much money you choose to invest and what interval you choose to invest in is, of course, strictly up to you. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just us following along and conducting this experiment and hoping that whatever we learn can maybe be valuable to you in forming your own opinion. We chose $20 because most of the people listening to our podcast in the United States or Europe could easily afford $20 a week, even if it means you don't go to Starbucks or you don't have like one extra round of drinks at dinner one night. But for other people, $20 is a lot of money. In places like El Salvador, for example, we've already stacked more than the average family takes home in an entire month just by stacking $20 increments. So, again, you do you. You need to pick a dollar amount that you feel comfortable investing. As they say, do not invest any money that you cannot afford to lose. Certainly don't invest any money that you're going to need immediately. Dollar cost averaging is a long-term strategy, and you need to be planning on sticking this money away for years, at least till the next 4-year cycle, if not longer. But again, you pick an amount that you're comfortable investing. For some people, that might be $20. For others, that might be $1,000. And pick a time frame that you also feel comfortable with. Weekly seems to work out nicely for a lot of people. Others choose to invest every day. Some people choose to invest bi-weekly, every payday, or even just once a month. But the important thing is to get off zero and to start investing and to do so consistently. The saying goes, time in the markets beats timing the markets every time it's tried. All right, to make today's stack, as usual, we're going to use the handy dandy Cash App. And the reason that we choose the Cash App is because it's just so easy to use, especially for smaller purchases. As we've explained in previous episodes, they will let you automate your DCA. You can go in and set up a recurring purchase relatively easy. But if you've been listening, as you know, I like to make my purchases manually. It just, something about it feels more satisfactory, more real to me by entering $20 and hitting purchase. But that is a choice that you have to make. There are trade-offs, of course. For example, it's getting kind of late on Wednesday, and it's if we had set up a specific time and date, that purchase would have executed already. You could forget, for example, or you could be traveling and stuck on an airplane or an airport somewhere without Wi-Fi, or out in the woods, out in the mountains. So if you choose, Cash App will let you automate your stack. But again, I like to make my purchase manually. If you do not already have the Cash App, there is a referral link in the show notes. And if you click on that link and use that link to sign up for Cash App, you will currently get, I think it's $5 free just for signing up. That tends to change from time to time, but as long as you follow the terms and conditions, hey, you get free money. So if you don't already have Cash App and you want to use Cash App, please use the link provided in the show notes. You'll get some money and we'll get some money as well, and that'll certainly help us both out. As usual, I do not keep any money on the Cash App, but the one nice thing about Cash App is they make it super easy to add money. I have a debit card linked to the Cash App, so all I have to do is click on the Add Cash button, type in $20, and click Add. And just like that, $20 is available for me to purchase Bitcoin or do whatever I want. Cash App, you can also get the handy dandy cash card and spend your money on dinner instead, and they have some pretty neat boosts, like you can get 5% cash back on any restaurant is a boost that I currently have available. But again, I've added $20. The next step is I'm going to click on the little Bitcoin logo in the bottom right-hand corner. Click on Buy and enter $20. Again, this is a one-time buy. It'll let you change your order type to auto stack. You can automate that, as we said. Or you can even enter a limit order where, for example, you can say if Bitcoin reaches a certain price, please purchase an extra $100 or whatever of Bitcoin, and it will not execute that trade unless Bitcoin hits that price. And that's kind of cool. It'll keep you from missing those dips if you say set a target price of $50,000, and if Bitcoin dips to 50, it'll go ahead and make that trade for you, even if you're asleep or at work or in the middle of the mountains with no internet somewhere. But again, we're going to manually purchase. So I've entered 20, and I'm going to click Next. And then it's going to ask you to confirm. And it's saying we're going to buy 38,579 sats. The price is currently $50,675.24. There's a 45-cent fee because, again, it's about a 2.25% fee. So we're going to be buying $19.55 worth of Bitcoin for our $20. And I'm going to click Confirm. And boom, just like that, we've purchased an additional 38,579 Satoshis, bringing our stack up to 769,624 sats, which is currently worth about $390. And that isn't too bad considering we've invested a total of $400. So we're down a little bit, but again, this is a long-term play, and it's actually the first time we found ourselves down using DCA. And that's not too bad considering we just had a 30% correction a couple days ago. Again, we stacked for a price of around $50,675, and our last purchase, in fact, our last two purchases were more than $57,000. The one before that was $60,000. Before that was at $64,000 something. So this purchase actually brings our average cost basis down to $51,973.43, which is just a little bit more than what Bitcoin is currently valued at, but certainly a lot cheaper than the $69,000 that Bitcoin hit about a month ago. So despite the fact we've only been running this experiment since last July, I think we've done a fairly good job of illustrating the advantages of dollar cost averaging. We've purchased Bitcoin as cheap as $38,000 and as expensive as $65,000. You see on Reddit, on Bitcoin Twitter all the time, people asking, is it too late? Is $20 too little? Questions along those lines. And I think we've already illustrated that using dollar cost averaging, we've managed to purchase a decent little stack of Satoshis at a fairly good average price. And of course, if you believe that, like I do, that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million or more one day, an average price of $51,900 something is not too shabby. Even if it just goes back up to the $69,000 we saw, you've done very well. Again, they say time in the markets beats timing the markets every time it's tried. And another pun, another cliche, another market saying that I like to live by is that they say that 10 years ago was the best time to buy Bitcoin, but the second best time is right now. And since now is always right now, dollar cost averaging is the best way to take advantage of that. Hey, if you've been enjoying this podcast and you would like to help support us, there are a number of ways you can do so. Obviously, as we mentioned, if you do have the ability to tip on Twitter and you're not already, you can follow us, and we're at BTC Bulletin Pod on Twitter. So we'd appreciate the follow. And if you have the ability, you can tip us there. Also, if you don't have the Cash App already and you would like to use the Cash App to add to your stack, there is a referral link in the show notes. And if you sign up for Cash App and follow their terms and conditions, but if you do so by clicking on that referral link in the show notes, you'll get $5 free, and we'll get $5 free as well just for you signing up. Another way is I've written several books, but the one that is most relevant to this podcast is Understanding Bitcoin for Noobs, and it's available at both Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, and obviously by purchasing any of my books, that will help support the podcast. You can also support us directly through Anchor.com, and there's a support link in the show notes. And last but not least, we also include a Base32 Bitcoin address in the show notes where you can send us Bitcoin directly if you choose to do so. And if you'd like to contact me or give us any suggestions on what you'd like about the show or what you don't like about the show, again, we're at BTC Bulletin Pod on Twitter. And you can also contact me via email at bitcoinbulletin@protonmail.com. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Bitcoin Bulletin Podcast, DCA Wednesday edition. As usual, thank you for listening, and keep stacking those sats, you sexy sat stackers.